So there I was, standing in the Target parking lot at 9:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, watching my husband load fancy luggage into a car that definitely wasn't ours, with a woman who definitely wasn't me. Welcome to the moment I realized my 8-year marriage was a lie, and the person helping him load those bags was my shift partner from Station 14. I'm Rachel Mitchell, 34, firefighter with Charlotte Fire Department, mom to the most amazing 6-year-old boy named Ethan, and apparently the star of a betrayal drama I never auditioned for. I spent 6 years fighting to be taken seriously in one of Charlotte's toughest firehouses, proving I could carry the same gear, run into the same burning buildings, and earn the same respect as any guy on my crew. Turns out the real battle wasn't with the fire or the skeptical male firefighters. It was with the one woman I thought had my back. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up. Jason and I met at a charity 5K 9 years ago. He was the guy who actually knew how to coordinate an event. I was the firefighter doing CPR demos at the booth. He had this easy charm, real estate charm, the kind that makes you sign papers before you realize what you agreed to. We got married a year later, had Ethan 2 years after that, and built what I thought was a pretty solid life in Charlotte's South End neighborhood. Our craftsman-style house on East Boulevard was my pride and joy. Not because it was fancy, it wasn't, but because I'd renovated most of it myself. Weekends when Jason was showing houses, I was refinishing hardwood floors, retiling the bathroom, painting every room in colors he'd vetoed, but I did anyway because, honey, it's already done. The $420,000 house was in both our names, but let's be real, I was the one who made it a home. Jason just lived there between open houses. I worked 48-hour shifts at Station 14, rotating through days and nights in a schedule that would break most marriages. 2 days on, 4 days off, repeat forever. Jason worked his own hours, showing million-dollar properties to Charlotte's new tech money, hosting open houses on Sundays, and, as I later discovered, creating his own very personal property tours. Here's the thing about being a female firefighter. You spend every day proving yourself. Not to everyone, but to enough people that it becomes exhausting. I'm 5'7", 145 pounds of mostly muscle and stubborn determination. I can carry a 200-pound dummy down 4 flights of stairs. I can haul a charged hose line into a structure fire. I can do everything my male colleagues can do, and I've got the performance reviews to prove it. But there's this unspoken thing, this assumption that you'll quit. Get pregnant, get scared, get tired of the locker room talk and the not bad for a girl comments, and the way some guys treat you like a mascot instead of a firefighter. So when Maria Daniels transferred to Station 14 3 years ago, I was genuinely excited. Finally, another woman. Finally, someone who got it. Maria was 36, divorced, no kids, and had 8 years on the job. She'd come from Station 7 in North Charlotte with decent recommendations and a reputation for being solid on calls. She was good at the work, not exceptional, but solid. More importantly, she understood the particular exhaustion of being a woman in this profession, the constant awareness, the extra scrutiny, the way you can't just be good, you have to be undeniably excellent, or risk confirming everyone's bias. We covered each other's shifts, grabbed coffee at the 7-Eleven down the street during slow nights, and talked about the particular exhaustion of constantly proving you belong. She had my back when Lieutenant Morrison made his monthly "Women in the Firehouse" comment. I had hers when she struggled with a particularly difficult call involving kids. I thought we were friends. Spoiler alert, we weren't. Jason seemed supportive of my career, and that way people support things they don't fully understand. He'd tell his real estate friends about his badass firefighter wife, show them photos of me in turnout gear, but never quite grasped why I couldn't just swap shifts whenever he needed me at an open house or a client dinner. He was proud of what I did, but not necessarily proud of the life that came with it. The missed dinners, the overnight shifts, the smell of smoke that never quite washes out of your hair, the way I'd come home exhausted and he'd want to talk about granite countertops and open floor plans like my day hadn't involved pulling someone out of a burning car. But we managed. Or I thought we did. Ethan was thriving in first grade. The house was paid down to $280,000 remaining on the mortgage. My career was progressing steadily toward engineer and eventually captain. Jason's real estate business was doing well enough that we weren't stressed about money. Life was, by all measurable standards, good. Looking back, I can see the signs I missed. The way Jason started working out more. Not for health, but for aesthetics. The cologne that appeared in our bathroom. Expensive stuff I'd never bought him. The phone calls he'd take outside. The way he'd come home from showings and immediately shower. But I didn't see it. Or I saw it and filed it under probably nothing because I was exhausted and busy and raising a kid and fighting fires. Because suspicion requires energy, and I was using all mine to keep our life running while he was doing something else entirely. Last October, Jason started talking about needing to travel more for work. High-end properties in Asheville, networking events in Charleston, a real estate conference in Atlanta. He'd leave Friday morning, come back Sunday night, smelling like hotel soap and expensive cologne. I didn't think much of it. The real estate market was competitive, and Jason was ambitious. What I didn't know was that Maria was also taking a lot of weekend trips. Girls' weekends, she called them. Visiting her sister in Atlanta, spa retreat in Asheville, wine tasting in Charleston. I know this because she'd ask me to cover her shifts, and I'd say yes, because that's what you do for your crew. You show up. The irony wasn't lost on me later. Thursday morning, November 21st. I remember the exact date because some days burn into your memory like a brand. I was off shift, doing the Target run I'd been putting off for a week. Ethan needed new sneakers because 6-year-olds apparently grow at the speed of light, and I needed to stock up on the approximately 7,000 snacks required to sustain a first grader. I was loading paper towels and goldfish crackers into my Jeep Cherokee when I saw Jason's Audi pulling into the parking lot 3 rows over. Weird, but not concerning. Targets on his route to several properties. Then I saw her, Maria Daniels, climbing into the passenger seat, laughing at something on her phone. They drove to the back of the parking lot, the dark corner near the dumpsters where smart people park when they're doing things they shouldn't be doing. I stood there for maybe 5 seconds trying to make my brain catch up with my eyes. My husband, my shift partner, Target parking lot, 9:47 p.m. on a Thursday. Then Jason got out, popped the trunk, and started loading Louis Vuitton luggage I'd never seen before, into his car. Maria handed him a garment bag. He kissed her. Not a friendly peck, not a thanks for helping with the bags kiss. A kiss that said they'd done this before, many times before. Funny thing about shock. Your brain does this weird thing where it processes everything in hyper detail while simultaneously going, nope, not happening. I noticed Maria's new highlights, expensive balayage that cost at least $300. I noticed he was wearing the Brooks Brothers shirt I'd bought him for his birthday. I noticed they were both laughing, easy and comfortable, like people who've practiced being together. I noticed the way he touched her lower back, the way she leaned into him, the body language of two people who knew each other intimately. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I didn't walk over there and demand answers like some dramatic TV character. I got in my Jeep, drove home with Target bags still in my cart, sorry Target, and sat in my driveway for 20 minutes trying to figure out what I'd just seen. My hands were shaking, not from fear,
From this weird, cold clarity that was settling over me like ice water, everything suddenly made sense. The late nights, the weekend trips, the way Maria always seemed to know my schedule, the expensive cologne, the new workout routine. Then I went inside, opened my laptop, and did what any rational woman would do. I became a detective. The investigation phase. Jason came home around 11 p.m., whistling, actually whistling. He kissed my forehead, asked me about my day, and said he had an early showing in Myers Park tomorrow. I smiled and said, "That's great, honey. Good luck." My acting skills were apparently exceptional. That night, while he slept, I started digging.
Our finances were joint, not because we were modern and enlightened, but because I'd insisted on transparency when we bought the house. Joint checking, joint savings, shared credit cards. I opened our Bank of America account and started scrolling through 3 months of transactions. If you've never done forensic accounting at 2 a.m. powered by rage and Dunkin' Donuts coffee, let me tell you, it's clarifying. I opened a Google sheet, started building my case. October 4th, Friday. Fleming's Steakhouse, $286.73. Reservation for 2 at 7 p.m. Jason told me, broker's dinner with the Myers Park team. Maria's shift, I covered for her, visiting her sister in Raleigh. October 5 to 6, weekend. The Omni Grove Park Inn, Asheville, $1,247. 2 nights spa package included. Biltmore Estate tickets, $142. Early Girl Eatery breakfast, $67.89. Jason told me, real estate conference. Maria told me, spa weekend with college friends. October 12, Saturday. The Dunhill Hotel, Charlotte, $847. Jason told me, conference in Charlotte. We live in Charlotte. We live 20 minutes from the Dunhill. Maria was visiting her sister in Atlanta that weekend. October 19 to 20, weekend. Charleston Place Hotel, $1,534. 2 nights. Husk Restaurant, $347.82. King Street Shopping, $892.47. Jason told me, client meetings in Charleston. Maria, wine tasting weekend. October 21, Monday. Anthropology, $394.82. I've never shopped at Anthropology. I wear Carhartt and Dickies work pants. November 2, 3, weekend. W Hotel Atlanta, $1,647. 2 nights. Ponce City Market shopping, $567.29. Canoe Restaurant, $284.73. Jason, luxury property networking event. Maria, sister's birthday in Atlanta. November 7th, Thursday. Tiffany and Company, $2,847.82. I checked my jewelry box, nothing new. Checked Maria's Instagram 3 days later, new bracelet in her wrist selfie. November 12, Sunday. Nordstrom, $1,247.93. Men's department, women's department. Jason came home with new shoes. I checked the receipt total. His shoes were $247. Where did the other $1,000 go? I built my spreadsheet, color-coded by type. Red for restaurants, blue for hotels, purple for shopping, yellow for jewelry. Cross-referenced with Jason's calendar and Maria's shift trade requests. Every time Maria asked me to cover her shift so she could take a girls' trip, Jason had a work commitment the same weekend. The pattern was beautiful and devastating. But I didn't stop there. I opened Jason's laptop. He'd left it on the kitchen counter, password saved because he never thought I'd look. Went through his email, found hotel confirmations, found flight receipts to Savannah for a weekend in September before I'd even started tracking. Found a Zillow search history for luxury condos Atlanta and downtown Charleston waterfront properties. They weren't just having an affair, they were planning a future. I checked Jason's phone. He'd changed his password from our anniversary, sweet, right, to something random. Took me 4 tries. His mom's birthday. Amateur mistake. I went through his texts. He'd deleted everything from Maria, but he wasn't smart enough to delete the cloud backup. I spent an hour in the cloud, downloading 3 months of deleted messages. Sample messages that will haunt me forever. Maria to Jason on September 18th. Can't wait for this weekend. I told Rachel I need to cover my shift for a family emergency. She's so sweet about it. Said she hopes everything's okay. Laughing emoji. Jason to Maria on October 15th. She asked why I smelled like different soap. I said the hotel ran out. She bought it. Maria to Jason on October 28th. She actually thanked me for being such a good friend today. Said she's so glad to have another woman at the station. This is almost too easy. Devil emoji. Jason to Maria on November 1st. After the divorce, we should move to Atlanta. Fresh start. Ethan will adjust. Maria to Jason on November 8th. Did you see how she covered my shift again? I almost feel bad. Almost. Devil emoji. The emojis. The laughing. The casual cruelty. They weren't just betraying me, they were enjoying it. I downloaded everything. Screenshots, PDFs, a timeline that would make a prosecutor weep with joy. I organized it all in a Google Drive folder labeled 2024 tax documents because Jason never looked at anything that boring. I calculated the total, $15,247.82 in unexplained expenses over 3 months, all from our joint account. My paychecks, my overtime, my hazard pay. The money I earned running into burning buildings was funding their romantic getaways while I worked her shifts and raised our son alone. But I needed more. I needed to understand how long this had been going on. I went back further. June, July, August. The pattern went back 6 months, but it was subtler before October. Smaller amounts, fewer trips. They'd been careful at first, then gotten careless. Or maybe confident. Same thing, really. I found text messages from August where Maria complained about her shift schedule, and Jason suggested she ask me to cover for her. Rachel's a team player. She'll say yes. He weaponized my work ethic against me. I found a deleted Venmo transaction from Maria to Jason, $800, September 12th. Memo, my half. They were splitting costs. This wasn't Jason spoiling his mistress. This was a partnership. By 4 a.m., I had everything. The evidence, the timeline, the financial damage, the text messages showing premeditation and planning, the proof that this wasn't a mistake or a moment of weakness. This was calculated, sustained, systematic betrayal. I sat in my kitchen, looking at my spreadsheet, and felt something cold and sharp settle into my chest. Not heartbreak, not sadness, something harder. Fury. Pure, cold, tactical fury. Here's what I learned about North Carolina that night. We're one of the few states left with fault-based divorce. Adultery isn't just relationship ending, it's legally relevant. Specifically, it affects alimony and property division. A spouse who commits adultery can be barred from receiving alimony. Marital assets can be divided unequally in favor of the innocent spouse.
And I had proof. Detailed, time-stamped, credit card receipted, text message documented proof. I saved everything to 3 separate drives, printed hard copies and put them in my mom's safe deposit box, uploaded encrypted backups to the cloud. I wasn't taking chances.
Friday morning, I dropped Ethan at my mom's house, told her I needed to handle some work stuff. She took one look at my face and said, "What did he do?" Moms always know. "Everything, Mom. He did everything." She hugged me. "You're stronger than him. Remember that." I nodded, because I was about to prove it. Catherine Brennan's law office was in downtown Charlotte, 12th floor of a building with the view of Bank of America Stadium. She'd represented 3 guys from my station through divorces. All 3 recommended her with the same description: "She's terrifying. Perfect." The receptionist led me to a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows and artwork that probably cost more than my annual salary. Catherine was 50-something, silver hair cut in a sharp bob, wearing a navy suit that screamed, "I win cases for breakfast." She shook my hand with the grip of someone who'd crushed better people than my husband. "Coffee? Water? Something stronger?" "Coffee. Black." She poured from a French press into actual china cups. Fancy. "Walk me through it, and don't leave out the stupid parts. Those usually matter most." I opened my laptop and showed her everything. The spreadsheet with color-coded betrayal, the screenshots of deleted texts, the timeline cross-referenced with shift schedules, the bank statements highlighted in yellow, the hotel receipts, the Tiffany purchase. She spent 20 minutes reviewing it in silence, scrolling, clicking, reading. Her face didn't change, but I watched her make notes on a legal pad in handwriting so perfect it looked printed. Finally, she looked up and smiled. Not a friendly smile, a shark smile. "This is beautiful work. You should consider paralegal school." "I'm busy fighting fires." "Fair. Here's what you need to know. North Carolina recognizes adultery as grounds for divorce. It can affect alimony, property division, even custody arrangements. Your husband used marital funds to conduct his affair. That's relevant. The fact that his affair partner is your colleague, someone who had access to your work schedule and used that information to facilitate the affair, is morally repugnant and legally interesting. What are my options?" Catherine leaned back in her chair. 3 paths: quick settlement, file, serve, negotiate, done in 6 months, clean, efficient, boring. Strategic delay, drag it out, let him panic, maximize negotiation leverage. Or public trial, air everything in open court, let a judge decide. That's the nuclear option. How nuclear are we talking? Your husband's a real estate agent. Real estate is built on reputation and relationships. A public trial where his infidelity becomes part of the court record, his professional network will know. His clients will know. The Charlotte Observer covers interesting divorce cases. And, sweetheart, yours is interesting. Every detail becomes public record. The hotels, the amounts, the texts, everything. And Maria? She's Charlotte Fire Department, public employee. Her conduct reflects on the department. If this goes public, there will be internal review, professional consequences. Her career will take a hit. I thought about this maybe 30 seconds. I want the nuclear option, but not in court. Catherine raised an eyebrow. Explain? The firehouse has a charity gala in 3 weeks. Big fundraiser at the Dunhill Hotel. Yes, the same hotel where they had their affair. Every firefighter in Charlotte will be there. Spouses, city officials, local media. The Charlotte Observer sends a reporter every year. And Maria is receiving a Community Service Award for her dedication to Charlotte's youth fire safety programs.
And I want to let everyone know exactly what kind of community service she's been providing. Catherine was quiet for a moment. Her fingers tapped against her coffee cup. Then she laughed. Actually laughed, this low, delighted sound that suggested she'd been waiting her whole career for a client like me. I can't officially advise you to publicly humiliate your husband and his mistress at a charity event. But I can help you prepare the legal groundwork so you're protected afterward. File for divorce the morning of the event. Serve him with papers at the gala, in front of witnesses. Establish your timeline and intent. Document everything. Video if possible. The public nature of the service protects you from claims of harassment or stalking. You're simply serving legal documents at a public event where he happens to be present. How much will this cost? My retainer is $7,500. That covers initial filing, strategy, and the first month of work. Total cost depends on how much he fights, but given your evidence, I'd estimate $15,000 to $20,000 total for a contested divorce. Less if he settles quickly, which he probably will once he sees what you have. You'll get most of it back in settlement. I'll make sure of that. And custody? You're the primary caregiver. You have documentation of his absence and infidelity. Unless he can prove you're unfit, which he can't, you'll get primary physical custody. He'll get standard visitation. Wednesday dinners, every other weekend, alternating holidays. And the house? It's jointly owned, but you made the down payment, correct? $80,000. From my signing bonus when I joined Charlotte FD. Document that. We'll argue for you keeping the house. He can refinance to buy out his equity, or we sell and split proceeds. But with his infidelity and your documented contributions, you have leverage. Most judges won't force you and your son out of the family home to benefit the cheating spouse. What about his business? His real estate license and client list are marital assets if they were built during the marriage. We can argue for a percentage, but honestly, the publicity will hurt him more than any settlement. Real estate is relationships. When his clients find out what he did, some will leave. That's just reality. I wrote the check, $7,500. It cleared that afternoon. Catherine walked me through the timeline. File Monday, December 9th. Serve him Friday, December 13th at his office. Official, documented, professional. Then serve him again Saturday, December 14th at the gala. Public, witnessed, memorable. 2 services? I asked. First one makes it legal. Second one makes it art. The master plan. 3 weeks. I had 3 weeks to plan the most memorable firehouse gala in Charlotte history. Week 1. The perfect wife. I was flawless. Made Jason's favorite meals, Carolina pulled pork on Wednesday, chicken piccata on Friday, asked about his showings with genuine interest, kissed him goodbye when he left for client meetings, texted him during my shifts, miss you, can't wait to see you, love you. Every message was documentation, every conversation was preparation. I told Maria I'd help her write her acceptance speech for the Community Service Award. She was so grateful. You're such a good friend, Rachel. I couldn't do this without you. I smiled. That's what friends do. We sat in the firehouse kitchen drinking bad coffee while she dictated her speech about service and dedication and community. I typed it up, made it sound professional, gave her tips on delivery. Look up every few sentences, make eye contact with the audience, smile when you talk about the kids. People love that. She practiced in front of me. I gave her notes. The guys at Station 14 thought I was being nice. Captain Rodriguez said, "Mitchell, you're a good egg." If only he knew. Week 2. The filing. Catherine filed the divorce papers on Monday, December 9th, Mecklenburg County Superior Court, case number 2024 DV 3847. Grounds are adultery. I requested primary physical custody, equitable distribution of marital assets, and attorney's fees. Jason got served at his office Friday afternoon. The process server handed him the papers in front of his receptionist and 2 agents. Very official, very public. He called me at 3:17 p.m. I was at the grocery store buying snacks for Ethan's class party. I let it ring. He called again. And again. 7 calls in 20 minutes. Finally, I answered.
Rachel, what the hell is this? Legal documents. You should read them. You filed for divorce without talking to me? What's there to talk about, Jason? The affair? The $15,247.82 you spent on Maria? The trips you planned while I was home with Ethan? Which part needs discussion? Silence. That beautiful, damning silence. When did you? November 21st, Target parking lot, 9:47 p.m. You were loading Louis Vuitton luggage. Maria had her hand on your ass. Should I continue? More silence. Rachel, please, we can talk about this. Counseling, therapy. We can work through what? Your systematic betrayal? The text messages where you laughed about how easy it was to fool me? The part where you used my work schedule to plan your affair? Tell me, Jason, which part should we work through? You don't understand. I understand spreadsheets. I understand hotel receipts. I understand Tiffany purchases that never arrived at my house. I'm a firefighter, not an idiot. You confused the two. We have a son. Yes, we do. And he deserves better than a father who modeled lying and betrayal. But don't worry, you'll still see him. Wednesdays and every other weekend. Catherine worked out the details. Catherine? You hired Catherine Brennan? Rachel, that's expensive, smart, final, pick one. I want to see Ethan. He's at my mother's. You can coordinate with Catherine. Rachel, I hung up, blocked his number. He could talk to Catherine. I went home, poured a glass of wine, and sat on my porch looking at the neighborhood I'd fought so hard to build a life in. The house with the blue door I'd painted myself, the garden where Ethan and I planted tomatoes, the street where I'd learned to ride bikes with my son. Jason didn't get to take this from me. Week 3, the preparation. I bought a new dress, black, fitted, expensive, $847 at Nordstrom, the same amount Jason spent on the Dunhill Hotel. Poetic justice in retail form. Not firefighter practical, not mom comfortable, the kind of dress you wear when you want everyone to remember you walked into a room. I paired it with heels I could barely walk in, but looked devastating. Hair appointment. Makeup that made me look like I was about to destroy someone's life in the classiest way possible. Because I was. I practiced my speech in the mirror. Short, factual, devastating. Revised it 6 times until every word landed exactly where I wanted it. I coordinated with Catherine's paralegal, a woman named Jessica who seemed genuinely excited about this plan. I've been doing divorces for 8 years. This is my favorite one. The service would happen at 7:47 p.m., right after Maria received her award. Timed perfectly. Documented by the event photographer who Catherine had quietly contacted to make sure he'd be positioned correctly. I told Captain Rodriguez I'd be at the gala. He seemed surprised. You usually skip these things, Mitchell. Not this year, Cap. This year, I'm looking forward to it. The night before the gala, Ethan asked me why Daddy wasn't home anymore. I knelt down to his level, looked him in the eyes. His father's eyes, which hurt, but I pushed through it. Daddy made some really bad choices, buddy. Choices that hurt our family. But you and I are going to be okay. Better than okay. Is Daddy in timeout? Out of the mouths of 6-year-olds. His first-grade logic was perfect. Yeah, buddy. Daddy's in the longest timeout ever. Forever? Pretty much. He thought about this.
Can I still have my Iron Man toys at Daddy's new house? Absolutely. Daddy still loves you. He wasn't good at loving Mommy. That's dumb. Yeah, buddy, it really is. I tucked him into bed, read him 3 stories, and lay there thinking about tomorrow. About the moment everything would change. About justice served with witnesses and documentation. I should have felt nervous, scared, something. Instead, I felt calm, ready. Like standing outside a structure fire, gear on, waiting for the call to go in. This was just another fire, and I was about to run straight into it. Saturday, December 14th. The Dunhill Hotel ballroom looked like every charity gala I'd ever attended. Round tables with white linens, centerpieces that probably cost $200 each, a bar that was already busy at 6 p.m., 300 people in formal wear, including half the department, city council members, the fire chief, and a reporter from the Charlotte Observer. I arrived at 6:45 p.m., fashionably late enough to make an entrance, wore my black dress, and carried a small clutch. Inside the clutch, my phone, my lipstick, and absolutely nothing else. Because I didn't need anything else. Catherine's paralegal had the flash drive with all my evidence. The photographer knew his angles. Everything was set. Jason was at table 6 with Maria. They'd strategically seated themselves away from my assigned table, table 2, near the stage, but not so far that it looked suspicious. Jason was wearing his Hugo Boss suit, the one that made him look successful. Maria was wearing red. Bold choice for someone about to have the worst night of her life. They saw me walk in. Jason's face went white. Maria's smile froze. I waved, genuinely smiled, walked to my table like I didn't have a care in the world. Captain Rodriguez found me at the bar. "Mitchell, you look different. Off-duty Rachel is scary Rachel." "Wait for it, Cap." "Wait for what?" "You'll know." I ordered a vodka tonic, sipped it slowly, let the anticipation build. Across the room, Jason was on his phone, probably texting someone in a panic. Maria kept glancing at me, then away, like she couldn't decide if I knew or not. Spoiler, I knew. Dinner was salmon or chicken with risotto and asparagus. I chose the salmon. Couldn't taste it. My heart was pounding so hard I thought everyone could hear it. But my hands were steady, clear, ready. The award ceremony started at 7:30. Chief Morrison gave his opening speech about sacrifice and service, about the men and women who run to danger, about the community that supports them. 2 guys from Station 9 got medals for a dramatic rescue from a second-floor apartment fire. The mayor presented an award for Firefighter of the Year, Lieutenant James from Station 3. Everyone clapped, made small talk, drank their wine. Then, at 7:43 p.m., Maria's name was called. Our next award recognizes exceptional dedication to community outreach. Maria Daniels has volunteered hundreds of hours with Charlotte's youth fire safety programs. She's organized multiple fundraisers, visited schools throughout the district, and demonstrated the kind of commitment we value in the Charlotte Fire Department. Maria, please come up to receive the Community Service Award. Maria stood, smoothed her red dress, walked to the stage, smiled at the crowd, accepted the Crystal Award from Chief Morrison, posed for photos, then stepped to the microphone. "Thank you so much for this honor. I'm incredibly grateful." She launched into her speech, the one I'd helped her write. She was 3 sentences in when I stood up. Every firefighter knows the sound of someone standing during a formal event. It's wrong. It breaks the silence, like a chair scraping in a quiet library. It triggers instant awareness. 300 heads turned. I walked to the center aisle in my black dress and expensive heels. Each step was deliberate, measured. Every eye in the room followed me. Maria faltered mid-sentence. "Grateful for the opportunity to serve our community, and..." I kept walking until I reached the center of the room. The photographer shifted, got his angle. Jason's face was frozen in horror. Maria's smile was cracking. Captain Rodriguez whispered, "Mitchell, what are you doing?" I turned to face the room. 300 people. This was happening. I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's something everyone should know about Maria's dedication to service. Chief Morrison, Mitchell, this is public information, Chief. Just sharing some facts. Won't take long. I could feel the tension in the room, the collective inhale, the moment before everything changed. My name is Rachel Mitchell. I'm a firefighter at Station 14, and I've worked alongside Maria for 3 years. We covered each other's shifts 23 times in the last 3 months alone. We supported each other in a male-dominated profession. I thought we were friends. Maria's face was frozen. Jason was halfway out of his seat. Someone in the back said, "Oh shit." Now, affairs happen, people make mistakes, but here's what makes this particular affair interesting. Maria scheduled her romantic getaways around my shift schedule. She'd ask me to cover her shifts 23 times in 3 months so she could sleep with my husband. I was literally facilitating their affair by being a good colleague. I gestured to the photographer. He nodded. The ballroom screen flickered to life with my first slide. Hotel receipt. The Omni Grove Park Inn, Asheville. $1,247, October 5th and 6th. I covered Maria's shift that weekend. She told me she was visiting her sister. Jason told me he had a real estate conference. Next slide. Fleming Steakhouse, $286.73. Date night, while I worked Maria's shift. Next slide. Charleston Place, $1,534. Another shift I covered. Another romantic weekend. Click. Victoria's Secret, $247. Nothing ever arrived at my house. Click. Tiffany & Co., $2,847.72. I never got jewelry, but Maria posted a bracelet on Instagram 3 days later. The room was exploding now. Whispers, gasps, someone's chair scraped loudly. Chief Morrison was standing. Jason was on his feet, face red, moving towards me. I held up my hand. "Jason, sit down. The adults are talking." He froze. Actually froze. Looked around the room at 300 witnesses and sat down. I turned to Maria, still frozen on stage like a deer in headlights. Total expenses, $15,247.82 from our joint account. Money I earned carrying gear, running into fires, saving lives. Money that was supposed to support our 6-year-old son. Instead, Jason spent it on hotel rooms, restaurants, and jewelry for my colleague. Click. Text message screenshot. Maria to Jason, October 28th. She actually thanked me for being such a good friend today. This is almost too easy. The laughing emoji was huge on the screen. People gasped. Community service, Chief Morrison? Maria's exceptional at it. She serviced my husband 23 times while I was working the shifts she asked me to cover. The room erupted. Someone dropped a glass. Multiple people were on their phones. The Charlotte Observer reporter was writing frantically. Chief Morrison, "Mitchell, that's enough. One more thing." I pulled a folded document from my clutch, waved it. "These are divorce papers. Filed Monday, December 9th. Jason was served Friday at his office. I'm serving him again now, in front of witnesses, to ensure there's no ambiguity about timeline or intent." I walked to table 6. Jason's face was white, sweating. He looked like he might vomit. I dropped the papers in front of him. "You're served, again, for emphasis." I turned to Maria, still standing on stage holding her crystal award. She looked like she was about to cry. "You can finish your speech now, Maria, if anyone's still listening." I walked out of the ballroom. Dignity, composure, the click of my heels echoing in that terrible, beautiful silence. Behind me, chaos. Voices, footsteps. Someone was crying, probably Maria. Someone else was yelling. The chief's voice boomed, "Everyone sit down!" I made it to the lobby before I started shaking. Not from fear, from adrenaline. From the pure, electric satisfaction of the truth finally being visible.
from the fact that I'd just done something so completely insane and perfectly executed that I'd never have to wonder if I'd fought hard enough. Captain Rodriguez found me 5 minutes later leaning against a marble column, trying to control my breathing. Mitchell, that was the most insane thing I've ever seen anyone do in 30 years on this job. Am I fired? Probably suspended pending review. Chief's pissed, but honestly, he almost smiled. That took guts. Stupid guts, but guts. Worth it? He looked back at the ballroom doors where chaos was still unfolding. Yeah, Mitchell, probably was. The Charlotte Observer ran the story Sunday morning. Local firefighter exposes affair at department gala. Front page of the local section. They kept it tasteful, no names for Jason or Maria, but everyone in Charlotte FD knew exactly who they meant. The article focused on alleged improper conduct and internal review pending. By Monday morning, I had 47 text messages. My crew from Station 14 formed a group chat titled Team Rachel. Messages ranged from, "You're a legend," to, "I can't believe you did that," to, "Need anything, we got your back." I was suspended for 2 weeks pending internal review. With pay. Standard procedure when you cause a scene at a department event. Maria resigned Tuesday morning. Just disappeared. Cleaned out her locker before anyone got to the station, sent an email to Chief Morrison, and was gone. I heard she took a job in Raleigh, 3 hours away. Different department. Fresh start. Or attempted fresh start. Last I heard, her relationship with Jason fell apart about 6 weeks after their affair went public. Turns out relationships built on betrayal don't have solid foundations. Who knew? They fought over who was more damaged by the exposure, who should have been more careful, whose fault it was that they got caught. The irony was delicious. Jason called me 147 times the week after the gala. I know because I kept count. Blocked his number after 20, but he called from his office line, his mother's phone, random numbers, finally sent an email that Catherine forwarded to me. "Rachel, I know I hurt you, I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but please, can we talk about this like adults for Ethan's sake?" Catherine's response, which she copied me on, "Mr. Mitchell, all communication goes through this office. My client has nothing to say to you. Respond to our settlement proposal by December 31st, or we proceed to court." He responded in 4 days. The settlement. We met at Catherine's office, January 8th, for the final settlement conference. Just Jason, his lawyer, Catherine, and me. No mediator needed. Jason was ready to sign whatever stopped the bleeding. His lawyer was Bernard Chen. Expensive and good, but even he looked tired, like he knew this was a losing case. Catherine laid it out. Primary physical custody to Ms. Mitchell. Standard visitation for Mr. Mitchell. Wednesday evenings, 5 to 8 p.m., alternating weekends, Friday 5 p.m. to Sunday 6 p.m., alternating major holidays. Child support, $2,847 monthly. Jason flinched at the number. I smiled. Same amount as the Tiffany bracelet. Marital home. Ms. Mitchell keeps the house. Mr. Mitchell refinances to buy out his equity within 90 days, or the house is sold and proceeds split 60-40 in Ms. Mitchell's favor, accounting for her initial down payment and documented improvements. Jason's lawyer. That's fair, Catherine interrupted. Your client used marital funds for an affair. He's lucky we're not asking for 100%. Retirement accounts. Split 50-50 with qualified domestic relations order. No alimony to either party. Jason's lawyer started to object. Catherine held up one finger. Given Mr. Mitchell's adultery and North Carolina's stance on fault-based divorce, he has no claim to alimony. Ms. Mitchell is waiving her potential claim as well. Everyone walks away clean.
Attorney's fees. Mr. Mitchell pays $12,500 of Ms. Mitchell's legal costs. Jason's face was red. That's generous, Catherine finished. My client's total fees will be near $18,000. You're getting a discount. We sat in silence. Jason's lawyer whispered to him. Long conversation where I watched Jason's face go from angry to defeated to resigned. Finally, we accept. Papers were signed, notarized, filed. 45 minutes, and it was done. Catherine walked me out. You did good, Rachel. Most people don't have the guts to fight like that. Most people didn't have 15